life, the bright lights, the type the crowd likes. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me, they pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
Lakers at Wizards, 7 o'clock, Capital One Arena. The buy hat is engaged. Buying the Lakers, an official play at minus 12.5. Both teams come into tonight's game on the final leg of a 3rd-and-4 back-to-back. Theoretically, a tough spot for both opponents. However, let's analyze the Lakers side of this game. The Lakers are 1-5 ATS, second leg back-to-back at home. They are 1-4 ATS, second leg back-to-back on the road as an underdog, but uniquely as a road favorite in this fatigue spot. They are 2-0 ATS and straight up with a cover at the Spurs and recently at Memphis on March 27th, 136 to 124. Washington is 3-8 ATS on the second leg of a back-to-back off a huge effort last night against Milwaukee. A beautiful sell-high spot for a team not playing Kyle Kuzma and truthfully an ultimate level of bottom feeder. Washington is 1-5 ATS, second leg of a back-to-back at home, notably underperforming at Capital One Arena. This is the second matchup of the year, and Washington did cover in LA on February 29th in a tight Lakers overtime win, 134 to 131. On that given day, Lakers were laying 10.5 points at home, 12.5 on the road, notably strong, suggesting a W by 18 points tonight. Last year, the Lakers did not cover at home and did cover on the road. They travel well to this spot in the nation's capital. It is the top play on this beautiful Wednesday. The buy hat is engaged. Let's dominate.
Blazers at Hornets. Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Wednesday, April 3rd with another free pick. And we're rocking with the under 211.5. That's just a lean, y'all. It's not an official. And the reason it's not an official is when you're dealing with two really bad teams, it's hard to find reliable trends that you can take money and invest in. So I want to do a little bit more research because a lot of the things you see with these teams can lead you to false positives, right? So especially considering that Brandon Miller might not play, Miles Bridges might not play. So if those guys are out of the lineup, now I'm capping players that I don't even really know, guys who are getting way more minutes than they should be, which, by the way, has been the case for the Blazers for like 2 months. Now, if you go back and look at the first game between these two teams, which, by the way, ended with a total of 173, now the total is 211, you will see some of the worst offensive basketball you've ever seen in your entire life. Yo, the Blazers shot 9% from 3. They went 3 of 32. First of all, why they kept shooting threes is something that's beyond comprehension. Like, I'm not trying to shit on Chauncey Billups, but like, I'm still not convinced he's a competent NBA coach, and I'll just leave it at that. The Blazers' shot selection, combined with their lack of talent, combined with the Hornets' improved defense, because their defense has improved over the last 2 months, combined with the fact that their two best scorers, Bridges and Brandon Miller, might be out, all of these things lead me towards the under. But again, with two bad teams, you want to do extra research because there's so many false positives with their statistics that I'm very hesitant to get to the window. So it's just a lean, y'all. Under 211.5 in this game. Let's catch another ticket.
Pistons at Hawks, 7:30. State Farm Arena in Atlanta. A top lean on this game, NBA Shot Clock, as we bring you an angle or a top official on every game. If you guys want to bet this game, bet the under at 222.5. This is the third and final matchup this year between these two teams, seeing a massive reversal in the environment. Both of the games played previously with these two clubs were before the new year, where the league was in a cluster of overs, with refs really letting the game be wide open with a track meet style pace. Go back to November 14th in the in-season tournament in Detroit. Atlanta did light up the Pistons for 126 points in a blowout over 246 total. Both teams in that game shot over 50% from the field, and it got even higher in Atlanta on December 18th, 130 to 124. Now books are moving the line down from 243.5 on that over to 222.5, indicating a totally different style of ball, as refs really do call this more like 90s ball right now. Detroit is averaging 97.4 points per game, last 7 on the road, not scoring with any efficiency. And an Atlanta team without Trae Young has actually clustered home overs recently, some in overtime, some against contenders, and we expect this one to be a much lower scoring game. Buy the under at 220.5 tonight, and let's cash this ticket.
Thunder Celtics, Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Wednesday, April 3rd with another free pick. We're rocking with the Celtics in the first half, -6.5. If you've been blindly betting the Celtics first half all season, you have made a very nice profit for yourself. That's not the only reason we're taking that here. The Thunder are in a difficult position. They're without SGA. Now they're without Jalen Williams. And Jalen Williams, for those of you who don't watch too much Thunder basketball, really does have star potential. He's a legitimate 3-level scorer, which means he can make threes, he can take people off the dribble, he loves to go left and pull up at the foul line, or he can go all the way to the basket and finish strong, plus he plays defense. So you remove all of those elements from the lineup, along with SGA, who's an MVP candidate, and this Thunder team, you're asking a lot of guys to fulfill roles that they have not had to fulfill at any point in their career, let alone this season. So I don't love Josh Giddey taking 15 to 20 shots and some of their other reserves getting double-digit shots. That doesn't seem like a winning formula to me, especially in this spot, second night of a back-to-back with travel against a team in the Boston Celtics that, even though they've secured their position, we've seen some collapses in the last 2 weeks that they're probably going to want to fine-tune heading into the playoffs. It's just not a great spot overall for the Thunder in any way, shape, or form. Give me the Boston Celtics, the most dominant first-half team in the league, -6.5. Let's cash yet another ticket, y'all.
Raptors, Timberwolves, 8 o'clock. Target Center in Minneapolis. A top lean in this game, under 215.5. This is the second matchup of the year between these teams. They did play in the opener to the entire season in Toronto on October 25th. That game finished under 97-94 on a 221.5, and now books are moving the line lower, confirming another under. That game was played with completely different rosters, specifically for Toronto, who did start that in that game. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Dennis Schroeder, and Scotty Barnes. This is a totally different Toronto team that is not scoring the basketball very well on the road currently, and Minnesota is 5-0 ATS last 5 against the home under versus Eastern Conference opponents, with those games averaging only 201.8 points per game. Minnesota is a defensive juggernaut. They have a ton of length and competitive quality. Toronto's on a back-to-back off a game last night against the Lakers. Fatigue will be there, legs won't be there, and this should be an under. If you guys want to gamble in this game, buy the total, an under at 215.5, and let's cash this ticket.
Pacers Nets, Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Wednesday, April 3rd with another free pick, and we're rocking with the Indiana Pacers, -7. I believe the Pacers should be double-digit favorites. They were double-digit favorites in Indiana. Line was 10.5. Now it's 7, which makes sense. You usually get about 3 points from home and road splits. That being said, the Pacers beat these guys by margin. I do understand that Miles Turner might not play. He didn't play in the second half of that game, and they won the second half by double digits, by the way. So I do believe that this team is on an upward trajectory, and I believe it's because they have one of the most underrated coaches in the league, a top 10 coach, a championship winning coach, Rick Carlisle, who came in, looked at this roster, and decided, you know what? This team can't play the style that I like, so I'm going to allow them to play a style that works for them. That just shows you his level of coaching ability, and I believe that he is the main reason their defense has shown such improvement since the All-Star break, where Prior to the All-Star break, they were 26th in defense, allowing 119 points per 100 possessions. Now, since the All-Star break, which is a very big sample size over 20 games, they're 14th in the league, allowing 113 points per 100 possessions. That is the Rick Carlisle effect. And if this team, who leads the league in scoring at 123 points per game, is going to improve on defense, they're going to hurt feelings in the playoffs. They're going to be frisky. I like where they're going. Everything I said is the opposite of what I would say about the Brooklyn Nets, a team that's going nowhere fast. It has a bunch of guys on the roster who have made it very clear they don't like being there and they don't want to be there. Give me the Indiana Pacers -7, my best bet of the day. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Grizzlies at Bucks, 8 o'clock. Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. A top lean in this game. Take Memphis at +14. This is a brutal spot for Milwaukee. A 3rd and 4 road home back-to-back off a game last night against Washington. Milwaukee is 5-6-1 on the second leg of a back-to-back this year, underperforming in this fatigue environment all year. Milwaukee is also 1-3 ATS against non-playoff teams from the Western Conference at home, and those 3 non-covers came against the Spurs, Utah, and Portland, the only 3 teams in the Western Conference with an under 500 record other than Memphis. Milwaukee purely does not show up in these spots when they see a bottom feeder coming into their gym. Memphis is 9-5 ATS at the Eastern Conference, very above average all year in this full sample. They are 6-4 ATS on the road last 10 with a G League caliber roster, but guys who show up to prove their worth night in and night out for the future of their NBA career. This is the second matchup of the year between these two teams. They did play in Memphis on February 15th. A very surprising Memphis outright win, 113-110. Milwaukee was laying 14 points on the road. They open here at 13, indicating shortness of the line and a matchup played inside of 9 points tonight. If you guys want to bet this game, the buy hat is engaged by the Grizzlies at +14, and let's cash this ticket.
Cavs at Suns. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Wednesday, April 3rd, with another free pick, and we're rocking with the Suns -5.5. And I can hear some of y'all going off already about how you lay points with the Suns. Let me just go to the Cavaliers side of things so you understand why. The Cavaliers, since the All-Star break, are 10-13, and I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, yeah, Donovan Mitchell's been injured, but that's not the reason why they're 10-13. They're 10-13 because their defense, since the All-Star break, is 22nd in the league. This is a team prior to the All-Star break that was top 5 in the league in defense. And that ain't because of Donovan Mitchell. And I'll even give Donovan Mitchell the respect that he deserves in the sense that I thought this was his best defensive season of his career, just in terms of effort and his IQ and he's just stopped gambling as much as he used to when he was in Utah. But again, they didn't plummet defensively because of Donovan Mitchell's absence, and that's very concerning. I personally don't believe in their head coach. I think he got exposed last year in the playoffs. I think he's kind of getting exposed this year in the second half of the season without Donovan Mitchell. Again, I don't want to overreact. I'm just giving you the information as presented to me. This team is not scoring and they're not defending. It's 5.5 points is not enough for me to take on a second night of a back-to-back after you just played in altitude with travel. It's just a bad all-around spot for the Cavaliers. And also, I just think the way that this Phoenix team is made up, they can get enough points to cover this margin. To say that the Suns are desperate for wins would be the understatement of the year. So clearly we know who the motivated team is, who the team with the rest advantage is, who the better team is, quite frankly, even though the Suns are trying their best to disprove that theory. Give me the Phoenix Suns -5.5. They will take care of business tonight in a favorable spot for them for once. Let's cash yet another ticket, y'all.
Magic at Pelicans, out-of-conference basketball. NBA Shot Clock, Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. 2 top official plays in this game. New Orleans Pelicans, money line first quarter and first half -2.5. This is game 5 of a 6-game homestand for the Pelicans, coming into tonight's game off back-to-back double-digit losses against Boston and Phoenix. This is the second time this year the Pelicans have gotten blown out at the Smoothie King Center by the Suns. And this is truly uncanny pattern recognition. In both of these games, Devin Booker scored exactly 52 points to light up the Pelicans precisely in the first quarter. The first one of these, the first quarter score was 41-28 Phoenix. The last one, 46-28 Phoenix. You ask yourself, how did New Orleans bounce back off this previous loss to Phoenix? A trifecta cover against Utah, scoring 153 points. New Orleans has been great in the first quarter and the first half all year, both home and road. And Orlando is 5-8 ATS first quarter at the West, 6-7 first half at the West, with very specific poor starts at the Clippers, Phoenix, Sacramento, Denver, Oklahoma City, and Minnesota. This is the second matchup of the year, a revenge game for the Pelicans, adding even more motivation to this environment. Orlando did hammer the Pelicans at the Kia Center on March 21st, 121-106. That game was defined by a 3-point shooting outlier, with Orlando outscoring the Pelicans by 24 points from the 3-point line. Not something we expect to continue tonight. 2 top plays early and often. Pelicans moneyline first quarter, first half -2.5. Let's cash these tickets.